welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to go through my TBR for the Queer Lit Readathon. So this readathon is a week-long readathon. It takes place from June 6th until June 12th, I think it is. So by the time this video goes up, it's starting pretty soon. As you can probably guess based on the title, it's a readathon where the purpose is to read queer books. I have participated in this readathon a couple of times before, I think, but that was before I started my channel, so I wasn't like a super active participant. I basically just read some queer books throughout the week based on the prompts that were given, and I didn't like interact with anyone or anything like that. But I always had fun with it. I've always liked this readathon, so I'm super excited to participate again. This time I am planning to vlog, and there is a bingo board for this readathon. If you watched any of my previous videos, you may know that I love a bingo board. Let me just scoot over a little bit so I can put the bingo board up here. I'm aiming for a bingo throughout the readathon. I'm going to try and mark which bingo I am planning on aiming for. So I'm going to go through the books that I'm planning to read for each prompt. Some of these books probably would work for some other prompts on the bingo board as well, but I'm basically just focused on the ones that I need to complete in order to get the bingo. So let's start in the top corner. The prompt there is to read a memoir, and for this prompt I'm planning to read All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. This is apparently, based on the cover, it's a memoir manifesto. I don't really know what that is compared to a memoir, but I'm going to assume that it works for this prompt. It's apparently a series of essays, and it's the author, George M. Johnson, just writing about himself growing up and being black and queer. So that is basically what I know about this book. I have been excited to read it for a while. I've owned it for a while. So I'm super happy to be finally reading it for this readathon. And if some of you have watched my June TBR, you've also seen this book on that TBR, and there's going to be a lot of overlap between my June TBR and this TBR, just so you're aware. You're going to see some books that were on that TBR as well, because, you know, I need to overlap if I'm going to get through all the books that I want to read. So, but yeah, for the memoir prompt, I'm reading this book. The next prompt on the bingo board that I'm planning to complete is the prompt Brings You Joy. And for this prompt, I'm going to read, probably not a surprise for anyone who knows me, I'm going to read Heartstopper, Volume 1 by Alice Oseman. The reason I'm reading this is a reread for me. I've read it twice before. And the reason I'm reading it again is because Heartstopper Volume 4 was recently released. I am super excited to read that one, but I want to reread all the volumes first, all the first 3 volumes. So I'm going to start with Volume 1 for the Queer Lit Readathon, and then I'm going to try and get to the other volumes soon as well. Probably not during this readathon though, I doubt I'll have time for that, but you know, who knows. This book is guaranteed to bring me joy because, like I said, I've read it a couple of times before. I love it. It always makes me so happy, so I know for sure that this will be the perfect book for this prompt. So the next prompt on the board is Summer Vibes, and for this one I am planning to read The Summer of Everything by Julian Winters. I don't know too much about this book, but it has summer in the title. It looks super summery, so I'm going to hope that it brings me summer vibes. This is a YA contemporary. As far as I know, it's about a guy who has a crush on his best friend, I assume also a guy. And he apparently also works in like an indie bookstore, which just sounds so great to me. So I'm also super excited about this book for that reason. It's a book that I've been looking forward to reading. I've owned it for a few months, and I just have been intending to read it once the summer is here, and it is now, at least in my part of the world. I've heard a lot of good things about this book. I've heard a lot of good things about the author. So yeah, very excited to finally be reading this book. And the final prompt on the bingo board that I am hoping to complete is 40% or more BIPOC authors. Which basically means that more than 40% of my TBR for this readathon needs to be BIPOC author, which I am hoping to achieve. I mean, both these books would fit into that category, and these are 2 out of 4 books that I'm planning to read for this readathon, so that would mean 50%. So if I read everything that I'm hoping to read for this readathon, then I will complete this prompt as well. But, like I mentioned, I am planning to read 4 books for this readathon, and so far I've only mentioned 3. This 4th book that I'm planning to read, I haven't really picked for any of the prompts on the bingo board because it's not really part of the bingo that I am aiming for. But I do need an audiobook this week. So even though it's not like part of my main bingo, I am going to read this book, and I think it fits at least one of the prompts and probably more. Once I've read it, I'll know more. I know for sure that it will fit the prompt and not set on my continent. So I'm going to at least read it for that and probably some other prompts as well. But like I said, I'm mainly reading it because I need an audiobook, and the book that I'm planning to read is No Strings Attached by Harper Bliss. This one, like I said, I am planning to read on audio. I actually won this audiobook and a couple of other audiobooks as well in a competition last year, and I kind of forgot that I even had them, and that recently I remembered, so I need to start and, you know, get to them and actually read them. This book, I think, is actually first one in a series, and I'm pretty sure I won the next 2 books in the series as well. So if I enjoy this one, then I will try and get to the other ones soon as well. But this book, what I know about it is that it's a female-female romance. It's about a woman who used to be married to a man. I think she has a few kids. She used to be like a stay-at-home mom. And now she has divorced or is divorcing her husband. And she gets a new job at like a coffee shop or something, I think. This book is set in Sydney, Australia, I think. And I think the love interest in this book is like a customer or something in the coffee shop. So that is basically what I know about this book. Like I said, I won it in a competition a while ago, so I really want to get to it. And it sounds like it's going to be like a nice, maybe kind of fluffy romance, which is just like perfect to add to my TBR for this week. So that is my TBR for the Queer Lit Readathon, and of course also the audiobook that I mentioned. For me, this is a pretty ambitious TBR. It's more than I normally read during a week, so I'm not 100% sure that I'll be able to complete everything, but I really am going to try. I really want to try and finish all these books this week and just complete my bingo. I am super excited for the readathon. Like I mentioned, I have participated a couple of times before and I always had so much fun with it. So I'm super excited to be participating again, and this time also, like I mentioned before, vlogging my experience throughout the week. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know if you are participating in this readathon as well. Look out for my vlog sometime after the readathon is over. If you like this video, you can always hit like down below, or you can subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!